All righty, my people. We have got a lot to talk about here with this setup that's coming our way. Let's just break down where we started off the day, where we're going to be ending up later tonight and tomorrow, and then, of course, what else we're going to be experiencing throughout the week, but also taking a look across the country with just how cold this air is, who's been getting some snow, some places you probably wouldn't anticipate to get it. They've already had it. Temperatures this morning, extra cold out there. A ton of us started off the day at or below 13 degrees. The warmest spots were sitting around 14. That's cold. That's really, really cold. Even by January standards, some of the coldest air that we've had so far this season. Of course, not the coldest. We had that back in December, but definitely a cold one out there. French Lick, you were a spot that ended up extra chilly at 8 degrees, 4 in Des Moines, 6 in Chicago. A ton of folks are feeling this winter blast here. If you guys have any questions, comments that you want to throw into the chat, I'll be looking for those. If you have any specific questions about these winter setups that we have coming our way and just how long this cold is going to last, how cold it's going to be where you are, I'll be getting to those questions, getting you some answers here. But again, we are not the only ones feeling this. This cold is spread across much of the country, and it's here to stick around for a little while. I see Kathy saying Trimble County is pretty darn cold, but warmer than Florida, she believes. No, definitely not warmer than Florida, but Florida is a spot that I'm going to be talking about with just how cold it's been, and of course with the Miami game coming up here soon against the Hoosiers. I know people are going to be screaming at their TV sets here soon. Lebanon Junction, Kentucky. Yeah, you guys are cold too over there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, you can put in the chat where you're from, any specific questions you might have. Let's go up to Seymour first, where yesterday, about this time, we had a small snowburst move through, and it dropped enough snow to actually cause some road issues out there. Quick dusting to coverings across the area. It didn't last long. It was about a 15-minute max snowburst, and that did cause folks to have to slow down across that area. Seymour's currently sitting at 24 degrees. Feels like temperature, though, at 13. You just saw it drop down because the winds sped up there a little bit. Now out of the west at 12 miles per hour. Let's go down to Bardstown. Roads are all clear there. Skies mainly clear. I mean, we've got some clouds around. 26 degrees, but feels like 18. So those feels like temperatures are brutal. Actual temperatures are sitting down in the 20s, feeling like the teens. Most of us where you're at right now aren't going to be budging for the rest of much of the overnight hours tonight. I think a lot of places are going to hold pretty steady in the mid-20s. So it's a cold night, right? But seasonably so. We expect to be in the mid and the upper 20s this time of year. The weird thing is that the temperatures will actually be dropping going through the mid and late morning hours, a quick uptick in temperatures by a few degrees tomorrow afternoon, and then come crashing back down. So again, you've got mid-20s on the board. This is where you're going to hang out for much of the rest of the night. We've got some flurries and a few quick snow showers that are going to come in here early this evening. We mentioned that yesterday, that if we were to get any snow, it would be happening just after dinner time, but before midnight, and then from there we should see things clear out. So snow off to our north, just now getting ready to move into southern Indiana. This is all part of the same big trough that's been dragging in that really cold Canadian, in fact, polar air in reality here. This is truly polar vortex air that's moving in. And I want you to notice underneath the big blue arrows that we have south of our region that go across the southeast into the Gulf and then right along the mid-Atlantic states, that is our jet stream. Underneath that is the best lift in order to get showers, storms, or even snow. And it was directly over where I used to forecast down in southeastern Alabama, southwestern Georgia, the Florida Panhandle, and that actually produced a lot of snow for those folks. So this big trough is influencing not just our weather here, but them down there as well, and dropped a decent amount of snow, enough that they were actually able to scoop it all up, create a couple of snow folks down there, a snow woman and a snowman. This was sent in by my pastor, and he reminded me of, first couple chapters in Genesis. It is not good for a snowman to be alone. And so brought in a snow woman to go with him. His kid's cute as can be, sending that in to me this morning. And then a good friend, Lisa Campisi, she sent this one in of the palm tree in her front yard in snow. And I've been by this palm tree many times, gone over to their house. It looks even cooler, literally cooler, with the snow on it than it would at a normal time. So absolutely beautiful when they get snow down there. We missed out on our big chance last week. A lot of that was further off to the east of our area just a few days ago. I could talk more about that later on for those that are interested in why we didn't get the snow that we were anticipating. But first, let's keep it down there in the south. We're going to go even further south, down to Miami. For those that are watching the Indiana, the Hoosiers Hurricanes game, you've got really good weather for it. Not necessarily Miami weather, though. The cold air will impact you as well. Temperatures around noon are going to be hanging out in the mid-50s. A warm-up only to the middle and some upper 60s out there with good sunshine. More clouds should filter in by game time, which is at 7:30 Eastern, and temperatures starting to drop from there. So it is going to be cool. I would say bring a light jacket. But compared to up here, that's a nice balmy day. We would take that any day. Temperatures near 70 degrees. In fact, that would be close to a record high for us this time of year. That's not what we're going to be experiencing, though. So if you stay down there in Miami for a few more days beyond the championship game, your temperatures are actually going to be flirting with 80s again. So you got some vacation time, take it. Go have fun. I'm sure a lot of folks have already headed down that direction or maybe flying out early in the morning tomorrow. It's a good time to go down there, but it is a cool time to be down there compared to any other day of the week over the next 7 for them. Bringing it back home, brutally cold air is in play for us. We've got temperatures that are dropping down to the teens tonight, or specifically tomorrow morning. In fact, some places in southern Indiana may get down to single digits right around sunrise. Temperatures keep dropping through the mid-morning hours and then only get back up to the low 20s. And that's an at-best case scenario. And look at those winds. We're dry all day long, so you don't have to worry about any wintry precip, but you do have to worry about those feels-like temperatures basically the entire day. When you have sustained winds between 10 and 20 miles per hour, your feels-like temperature is going to be somewhere around 13, 12, 10 degrees or down near zero for most of the day, if not below zero in southern Indiana, especially at the start of the day. So a ton of cold air is in play for us, and it's not just to start out the work week. It's the entirety of this next week, except for maybe one day where we get right up to average on Wednesday, and then temperatures go crashing back down by Thursday. Folks saying that they're wishing for some snow. We are going to talk about that. Andre, thoughts for the storm system of this next week? I'll break it down in a little bit. We still have a lot of details that we've got to come in first, though, before we can make any serious decisions on what's happening next weekend. Rob saying, I've heard that we could have a major ice storm. I'm not saying that it's impossible. Definitely not saying that it's a guarantee, though. Again, you're asking for confidence in this next system. The confidence is extremely low, and I can't make that clear enough. Confidence in what the models are putting out there is very low. Now, they're all trending towards some sort of winter system for this weekend or early next week, but there is no confidence in the scenario of what will actually happen. All right, so let's keep digging in here. More people asking about that next upcoming system. I know, that's why I hopped on tonight. That is the big reason that we're going to be talking to you guys here on our live stream, is because not just cold, but winter storm system coming up. So plenty of cool air for this week. Let me skip forward here a little bit, and we're going to go to Tuesday is going to be another cold day, as we mentioned. Wednesday is going to be where we see those temperatures rise. In fact, Wednesday morning's temperature will probably pretty much equal what Tuesday afternoon is going to be. So not much of a change from Tuesday afternoon to Wednesday morning. You see those temperatures start to go up just a little bit Wednesday afternoon. In fact, even just with this latest model run on Wednesday, we've seen a huge change in the European model's output. So previously, it was saying that pretty much the whole area was going to be getting rain, snow, some sleet mix in there during the afternoon and the evening hours. It has totally slashed those rainfall and wintry mix potentials down to about a 30 to 40% chance. It was giving us a near 100% chance. We were keeping ours on the low end, about 30 to 40%. Now that model has come back into agreement with what we're anticipating. So I still think that something is possible on Wednesday. GFS model has been pretty consistently saying maybe not a lot. NAM model, not a lot. The European was real gung-ho about it, now has brought that chance for a wintry mix down. So I think that midweek, it's about a 30 to 40% chance for a wintry mix, and then should come down for Thursday. Let's go right into Thursday as temperatures start to drop once again. So Wednesday is our high, sitting in the low and a few mid-40s out there with that rain, little snow, sleet possibility. Thursday, back to drier conditions. A few models do throw a little bit of rain at us to maybe some flurries out there, but I think that we're going to have a dry day and a cold day. Moving into Friday, Friday morning starting off cold, Friday afternoon staying that way. Now, I do think that there is a warm up. We'll have a southwesterly breeze throughout the day Friday, so or at least to start. So I do think that we're going to see temperatures into the mid, maybe some upper 30s out there, but still below average for this time of year. Everyone's big question is what's going to happen Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and even with this latest run. And this is just exactly what I'm talking about. This latest run has changed everything for us here. In fact, I may be able to get in and show you guys a little the scenarios that this model has been running through. So you see the snow, and let me go back here for you. You see that it's an all snow scenario Saturday evening, Saturday night, Sunday morning, right? That's what the European model is currently saying. Just 30 minutes ago, when I first downloaded this data, I was using the previous run, and I'll try and show you here. Just 30 minutes ago, it was saying that this whole system would be further north and we would be in a big wintry mix mess instead of what it has on the board right now. Now it's saying it's an all snow scenario. Last night it was saying a lot of it could be rain. So a lot is changing. There is no set parameters with what's going to be happening next weekend and early next week. The timing on it is totally different from one type of model to the next. The European's been pretty consistent with saying Saturday to Sunday. Sometimes the GFS is saying that it's a Monday scenario. There is nothing that's guaranteed with what's going to be happening with the next big one for whoever it eventually hits. But I do think it'll be very impactful for someone either across the Ohio River Valley or down across the Tennessee Valley. Somewhere in that range, this will definitely be an impactful system if it manages to really get its act together. Let me go to the European model, which again, I've got on the map right now. And this is why you can't take, when someone sends out a picture of a single model run this far out, a whole week out, and they say, this is what's going to happen, everybody, 18 inches of snow. This is why you can't believe it. Because it changes so much. All right. Let me see if I can get the 12Z in here. It may take a while for it to actually load up. And it may not come up for you guys, unfortunately. But I'm going to try and get it. Let's see. Ah, there we go. That's what we want. All right. Nope. Fortunately, it's going to take too long to download all of that data for you guys. So you're just going to have to trust me on that one. That again, the models were going ballistic with a snow wintry mix scenario for us. And now we're saying anything but. Anything but. Yeah, it's not going to come up for us, unfortunately. So, all right, we're going to hop out of that. Man, I promised it was going to be very convincing for you guys to show you exactly what we anticipated happening. Or what the models were saying were happening. All right, so again, this is, and I'll throw it back up there for you. This is what the European model is saying right now. It's saying that we've got a big wintry mix coming in to our part of the country. No specifics on exactly what's happening here. This model says all snow. Saturday into Sunday. And keeps temperatures brutally cold for us for the second half of the weekend especially. Just a few hours ago, the latest model run was saying this is going to be mostly north of us, a lot of that snow north of the Ohio River, a mix for many of the rest of us, and then rain for our southern communities. So this has changed drastically by hundreds of miles, and that could very well happen over the next few days. It just keeps flopping back and forth, north and south. Timing of it goes forward and backward. You know, this, or could miss us completely with some of these model runs. It doesn't even initialize. So there is a lot of data that still is yet to come in over the next 7 days. What I'll tell you is that I really think that somewhere around Wednesday to Thursday, we'll have a pretty good idea of what's going to be happening next weekend and early next week. Wednesday should be our first sign of clarity. By Friday, we should be able to start hammering details on potential snowfall totals and things like that. Who's going to be on what side of the system? Are you going to be on the warm side, the cold side? Is it all snow, or is it a mix in there? That's what I think is going to be the most likely scenario. Is you got to wait Wednesday through Friday. We really get start honing in on those details, and then beyond Friday, that's where we get the specifics of just how much snow can you expect, or how much rain, or how much ice, which there is icing potential with this as well. So still a lot to be seen with this thing. Kathy's saying that she doesn't want any. Pam, thank you so much for sharing it. So yeah, that's what we're looking at right now. One thing that we're all pretty certain of, while we know that there is so much going on different from one model run to the next, is that everything points to a colder than average scenario in that 6 to 10 day forecast. So not only are we going to be cold to start off this week, a brief warm up and then going back to cool, but we stay below average. The Climate Prediction Center gives us that line, the darker purple to the dark blue directly over the Ohio River. That line indicates 80% chance of below average temperatures. So a lot of cool air is going to be in play when this next system is coming in, and that's why we're pretty confident that this is going to be a wintry mess, especially across either the Ohio River Valley or down into the Tennessee Valley. But again, it's all important about where this system sets up. So yeah, just like you said, Kathy, one day at a time. We got to take this one day at a time. Focus on staying warm with the cold air that's coming in. Maybe you got some neighbors that you know don't have good heating in their home, some elderly neighbors that you might need to check on. I think that's a good idea. Some folks that may need some shelters. I think that we may have online some shelter opportunities for you guys. Definitely going to be talking about that in the next couple of days. And then when it comes to that next big wintry system, midweek, there is potential. I'll go back to our advanced track for that. Midweek, there is potential for a little bit of rain, snow, sleet mix. See that starting on Wednesday and go forward here a little bit. Doesn't look like it's going to be real impactful. But again, just from one model run to the next, we've seen a lot of changes, even with what's happening in just a few days from now. You go to the end of this 7 day, there's your big winter storm system dragging in cold air, potential for snow, potential for ice, potential for a lot of rain. This is likely to be a big system. Models have, the only thing that they've been consistent about is that something will happen in the eastern half of the country. That's really the only thing that they've been consistent about, is something shows up at some point between Saturday and Monday. So your time frame, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, be mentally prepared for something big to potentially happen, or for this to be a whole bust. Speaking of bust scenarios, what we had on Friday was almost entirely rain. And I'll just bring this full for you guys here. Almost entirely rain on Friday. What we were looking at was the potential for evaporative cooling to take place. So, and I mentioned this on TV. Maybe you've already heard me talk about it. Don't tune out, because again, this is a little science lesson for you here, just to revamp your brain. So what's happening high up in the air is you've got warmer air at the surface. You've got much colder air above. As precipitation falls through that colder air, it almost always starts off exclusively as snow. During the summertime, all of that stuff is going to be, those ice particles melt far before they ever get to the ground, and it's all rain. In the winter, it could make it to the ground as snow. But sometimes, depending on the setup, it transitions over from snow to rain, or sometimes it's snow and only melts a little bit and it becomes like grapple and some sleet mix, and it depends on the temperature profile. Maybe it gets close to the ground where it's freezing again, and you have freezing rain. What we had this time was a lot of warm air near the surface, but really cold air above, and so we were expecting evaporative cooling to take place, meaning that snow falls through that warmer air. If there's enough moisture and enough snowflakes doing so, despite the fact that they're melting, they're taking out the heat, the energy from the air near the surface. And because they have to take in that heat in order to melt every snowflake, you're cooling down the air. Once you cool down the air to a certain point, the rest of that snow is able to fall through it as snow all the way to the ground. That's what we were anticipating happening. Once we got to Friday afternoon, especially Friday early evening, and temperatures were in the middle 40s, close to 50 degrees in some of our southern communities, started to get an inkling that maybe there was just too much warm air for us to effectively, evaporatively cool the atmosphere at the surface. That's exactly what happened. We were, a lot of the models were still pointing to 1 to 2, maybe up to 3 inches of snow in eastern Kentucky or right along I-75. So we kept our forecast in there as a rain transitioning to snow scenario. For most of us, it just didn't happen. Only a few places got that snow, and even then it was around a half inch to an inch at most. So didn't pan out how we were previously anticipating. I'm glad that the roads really weren't bad for most of us. But now our eyes turn to the next setup, which is this really cold air that's coming in. Tuesday morning feels like temperatures will probably be below 0 or at least single digits in most spots. And then you get Wednesday's warm up to average around 41, 42, 43 degrees. Have a little bit of rain, snow mix in there possibly, but no guarantee of that one by any means. We'll keep it around a 30 to 40% chance for that on Wednesday. And then it's the upcoming weekend, Saturday through Monday, where we're keeping our eyes on a potential winter system. Rita saying you'll take a little bit of snow. Pam, appreciate you guys watching. All right, that's all that I've got. I know Mimi's Jewelry Box says that they're concerned about wind chills Tuesday morning and kids waiting for school buses. That's a really great point. If your kid has to wait for the school bus, and I don't know what JCPS or any other school system's criteria is for extreme cold, I wouldn't be surprised if we do get a cold weather advisory in effect here for Tuesday morning especially. But keep that in mind for your kids. If they're gonna be out there for a minute, maybe drive them to the bus stop, stay there in the car, and just kind of hang out, let them stay warm. Or at minimum, give them some really, really warm clothes there for the bus stop. So Tuesday morning, extremely cold. Tuesday afternoon gets us back up to right around freezing. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll see you all later. And at 10 o'clock tonight on WDRB, we'll catch up with you.